Hello, if you are just joining us today, we are shifting into developing ideas for our soap carving sculpture and transferring them to our bars of soap. So in this demonstration, I'm going to re-explain our sketching process, how to transfer that, and how to properly use the tools that I have provided for students. So the first step, again, what we began yesterday is developing our 3 ideas. It is important that you have 3 completely different ideas for your soap sculpture, but they have to include 4 parts. And then it's a total of 5 points. That 5th point that I'm going to give to you with showing up with your 3 ideas at my desk with lots of enthusiasm and excitement. Okay, so yesterday, again, I'm going to go through the similar process as our previous project, the cardboard project. So we start out with thinking about subject, content, form. And we talked about representational art, semi-abstract, and abstract art yesterday as well. So you students have to decide which route you're going to take with your project. For this example, I went with representational, meaning it's from representing something from real life. Person, place, or thing for subject, I went with more of the theme of an animal, and that thing being a seahorse. The second step is in blue. It's really important that you go through this process of studying from a Google image your subject matter, so you have a better understanding of the shape, form, texture, all those elements there. When you're confident, then you can move on to step 3, which is visualizing the form inside your bar of soap. So how spatially you're going to divide that. And then I use different colors to go kind of plan out what parts I'm carving away first, green being first, orange being second, yellow being third, just to be aware of like not carving like, all wild and not plan it out. If you carve a little bit at a time from all sides, it kind of evenly works out. The last step for your sketching is to label the elements of art and principles of design. You can do that right on your visualizing of your form in the soap bar here. So for this one, I was thinking about balance from all viewpoints, texture with the mark making and ridges, also mark making in different patterns, creating unity, and rhythm within those scales and fins. So that's my example for representational. Now if you're going in the route of semi-abstract or abstract, you can do the same process by your subject matter being labeling what type abstract, but also geometric or organic as your 2 different categories of subject and form. From there, you can decide, instead of working from a Google image, you're going to study the design of what you're visualizing in your head for step 2. Step 3, you're still going to think about how you're going to use that space of the soap form and how you're going to subtract and carve away to create your design. And then finally, labeling elements of art, principles of design within this section here. So those are the steps that we went through. Make sure that your 3 ideas have that before you show me at my desk. Now, once you show me your idea at my desk, then you will be given the bar of soap that is behind my desk, and then also you'll be able to grab the carving tools to get started. At your table while you're working, I suggest you have 1 or 2 pieces of paper towel for easy cleanup at the end. And before we get started, I wanted to show you this example I did. It's a bigger bar of laundry soap that I use for this, but I want you guys just to notice that when you're carving your design, you want to keep rotating it so you think of all the viewpoints. So I have this kind of woman figure kind of knelt down in almost like this curved fetal position. But when I started carving, I drew her from the side with a needle tool. And the needle tool was kind of like this. So I kind of sketched it out so I could get the proportions. And I started carving from one angle. But I didn't go all the way through. As I started carving, I went like halfway through, and then I would start spinning it around. And when I spun my bar soap around, I was able to think about the perspective from here, and then I was able to turn it and kind of match it around, and then focus on, the back muscles and some of the anatomy on her backside. And then as I kept going, I kept rotating and seeing from every angle proportions and stuff. So I want you to get in the habit of doing that as well. The first step, again, I suggest when you are given your bar of soap, you can use either the side that says ivory on it, or you can use the clean side. But for my seahorse example, I started with the needle tool and I drew out the outline of my seahorse, okay? Now I did this not too deep, just enough for guidance. And I'm I know it's kind of hard to see with the dot cam, but once I feel confident, I can then choose tools, the best tools for my design. So looking at what tools I have for you, I have a lot of these tools that have one end needle tool, one end hook, and these are really nice for getting started. Again, starting with sketching it out. And this is a good hook that you can use for different angles of scooping out. So just like with an X-Acto knife, you want to think about not changing your wrist position and trying to like manipulate your tool that way. You have more control if you're spinning your soap as you're carving, and you can get some more variety of angles. Again, if you're turning your soap, not your wrist. That gives you consistency with the use of the tool and how you're manipulating the angle there. But that gives you some form. But I like this hook again because you can get these nice curves as you're starting to scrape away. We have a few ribbon loop tools that we use often with clay. Those are kind of good. There's a flat side and a round side for just kind of starting to shave away or gouge things out in a round way. A lot of different modeling tools are in this basket. Again, you can play with like these little hook ones that have kind of a point to them for specific areas that might work for some people's designs. You might have like a rounded side or this flat side if you have something really straight edge you want to smooth out. So again, you're going to want to just kind of see what these options are, and you might have to try ones and kind of switch it up every now and again. I have a large class, so what I do suggest is for you guys to start with one tool and see if you like it. And then if you don't like it, put it back in this basket so that other people can use it, and you just kind of swap them out as you go. Again, some tools might work better than others for your particular design, but it's going to take a little swapping out to figure out which is your favorite. But as you continue on, again, you want to do it very intentionally. You cannot bring back your soap once it's carved away. So thinking about, when you feel confident with where these sections are being carved out, that's when you can go a little bit deeper. This is a very fragile material, so if you have a skinny part of your design, like for example, this part of my seahorse, or maybe you have like a tail or like some type of like arm or leg of something, I want you to make sure that you're making it chunkier than you think. And then once you feel confident with it, you're just going to go in very gently with any details and slowly, shave it down for its finishing touches. Chunkier the better. And then because you don't want to go too thin too fast and then it falls apart or breaks. Be aware of your pressure. Again, very fragile. And then you have the option to take like your finger in a little bit of water to smooth out, or a damp sponge by the far sink, if you want to use that as something to manipulate or affect or whatever. And then for easy cleanup, just make sure you put the tools back, and then you just fold up your paper towel, throw it away, and then wipe off your table with a rag above the sink over there with a little bit of water to clean up the rest, okay? I do have drawing class after this, so make sure your tables don't have any residue left on them. So just keep that in mind. But that's pretty much it for this demo. I look forward to seeing what you guys do with these.